Hi guys! Today I'm going to do a video. You all know I don't think I'm like your best DDer. I'm not the smartest person in the group. Um, my efforts, I'm not sure how much they help the group, but I am so convinced that I'm doing good things. And so today I'm gonna talk about a few things. I'm not gonna talk about CES because I'm keeping that close because I'm gonna do the thing tomorrow for my birthday. I'll explain that later. But I decided that I wanted to show gratitude. You can see my facetious like change in my affect because um it's so funny. Okay, so you know that ramen guy, right? Um Yes, he runs those like Twitter spaces he's got where he's got like five other shills and then they just they bitch about Meta and the Meta fam and MTLP and what we're doing there and it's like, are you short? Are you in trouble? Like, why would you spend that much energy? Like, if you just like let's say you just truly like thought that some company was a crap company, right? Would you waste your time and energy like going to other people's spaces or creating your own and just spending hours going through like the metafam and then just trying to like insult them? It's funny because to me it's an indicator. So I guess they recently had one and they were going through and I got some messages and I feel very special because they were going through talking about different people in the community and just trying to call them out or whatever. But they spent a lot of time on me, which makes me think, holy shit, I'm doing something right, guys. Like if I'm pissing off the shills, I'm like, okay, what is it that I'm doing? Is it um well, I'm sure because they don't like metamaterials. I'm sure like CES pissed them off because I was like, "Hey, I'm going to tweet all the tweets." And then you guys were amazing and you tweeted all the tweets too. And so like that was awesome sauce. I mean, you saw the board. You saw like Cindy and Mel and like literally everyone from the metamaterials group was just so happy. Out here I am talking about CES. I'm actually pretty hyper today. I guess this is what sleep does. I've been so sleep deprived, and I've got this is today's mug. Today is my CIA mug. I actually like this. I like the matte finish. Um, I have this mug here today. This is a brand new one. I'll explain this one in a little bit. You guys are seeing my ADD in action. So going back, um, they spent a lot of time, and it's like, okay, maybe it's the FBI stuff. So I guess they were talking. They highlighted two folks in this chat supposedly, John Berta and then me. Although they were talking about other folks, I'm like, why wouldn't you talk about other people? Because like I just don't feel like I do that much. I mean, I'm always doing, but I just feel like as far as the contributions that people make in the community, it's like I'm just little, but maybe I'm enough. Oh, that sounded very profound. I am enough, guys. I am enough. Um, so I'm thinking. I think I'm spot on. I think I'm spot on with the FBI stuff. Because if they were going after Berta 2 in this space, it's probably MMTLP related, not necessarily MMAT related, even though they're interconnected. I wonder, Ramen, did you short torch? And did you not close your position? And did you think that you would never have to like be responsible for your decisions? I think you might be in trouble because that's the only reason I could think that somebody would spend as much energy as you are doing. Unless you're just insane, which whatever. Whatever, however you want to spend your energy, keep affirming me with all your negativity cuz I'm gonna fill out an extra IC3 complaint on the FBI website just for you. Um, okay, so that goes into the other thing, guys. So I got some good information. those IC3 complaints, we need to not just, and oh crap, not financial advice, not a financial advisor, not legal advice. I'm not a legal advisor. I'm just a crazy stay-at-home mom that like is obsessed with fixing market corruption. I think it's the social worker in me. See, this is my hoodie from school. I went to ASU for grad school. Yeah, yeah. So, um, so yeah. I mean, I want to make change, and it's funny because like I think that's what throws people off. They're like, oh, she's a paid pumper. You just see where I'm doing my video. Like, hey, look, this is my little closet nook that I turned into my little craft area. See, there's my heat press. See, it was an extra laundry room. See, so you can see, like, see, I have water hookups. Anyways, like, come on, come on. It's an IKEA desk. I got the top on clearance, and then there's like these little pieces that I put together to hold it up, and like I repainted this chair that someone was probably getting rid of because I was weird like that when we lived in the Virginia area because everyone was getting rid of hardwood furniture, and I was like, I can paint you, and then I would like sell it, right? So I could be a stay-at-home mom. So that was one of the other things Robin was saying. He's like, how did she go to Vegas to hang out with Palacaris if she's broke? Like, okay, first off, I say I'm broke. I live in my means because if I tell myself I'm broke, then I stay in my means. But, like I still have my savings. It's not like I don't have food on the table. But, things are harder now. And I was definitely, that MMTLP money was to take out I know this is TMI, but you guys know that I have no boundaries. Yeah, like I was going to get because the doctor said that like with lupus you can't have breast implants because they're tied to autoimmune diseases and it makes everything worse, so I'm supposed to get them out and then the capsule around it and like full reconstruction. That's what my MMTLP money was going to, because insurances don't cover it. So yeah, I mean, like I needed the money, but as far as like being broke and then going to Vegas, like my husband was there for work and it was amazing. Like, oh, so I'm talking about CES again, but this is kind of like side CES. So my husband was going there for work. He had the car. We had the hotel paid for. We had to go like to a lower hotel because, you know, um, although they may have paid for more, my husband is very, very particular to make sure that he gets like the he does not like charging the government more than he should. Like he doesn't want to exploit that system. So props to you, hun. So yeah, so we stayed at Circus, which is like the cheapest of the cheap. Like kind of grimy. Literally when we got to our floor one day, like we get in the hotel at the bottom floor. I mean, we get into the hotel, we get into the elevator, the bottom floor, right? We get up to the 15th floor where we're staying. The doors open. There's a pile, and it's not dog, guys. I'm pretty sure it's human shit on the floor. We're like, my husband's like, how does that even happen? I was like, mini skirt, no panties. Trying to get to the elevator. I gotta go. So yeah. It just like my birthday is tomorrow. Tomorrow is my birthday. We'll talk about that more too. And then our anniversary, it's our 20-year anniversary on the 31st. So this was our anniversary trip. This was our anniversary trip to see George. So you want to sit there and say, how does she have all this money? Like, that was my anniversary, my 20th anniversary trip and my birthday trip. And my husband was already there for work. So, like, shut up. But then at the same time, don't shut up. Keep talking, because the more you run your mouth, you affirm me. So you keep telling me I'm spot on. So yeah, so those FBI complaints. Let's talk about those. We need to just and you do whatever you want to do, but we need to be filling out, like we need to inundate the system because we need to be heard, and I need to call upon our ape community, because this is something like I've said a lot. This is the same war, different battlegrounds. And before they used to like try and divide us with tickers and all this other stuff. And while there's, different drama that might be in MMTLP or different, just the saga, not drama, saga. I mean, there is drama, like, we're we're a group of people. Like, we're a family, and my family has trauma, but I still love them. Um, there's some people that we need to create boundaries with, but that's a whole. I don't even want to go there. Anyways, sorry, ADD's kicking in again, and so is my caffeine. Hmm. Hmm. Okay, going back. Um, we need to inundate the system, and if we can get um, our ape community on board, I think that would be helpful. Moln, BBIG, AMC, and Jamie, of course. I mean, even your Sundial, your CEI, um, all these folks, Cat Striker is amazing. I wonder if I can coordinate with her. Um, I think the FBI. I really do. I really think that, because if we Congress is corrupt, or our politicians. I mean, there are some good ones, and I'm so grateful for the connections that a lot of you guys have made. Um, you guys keep at your realms, right? So like, everybody's got different strengths or different things that they've latched onto, and that's the angle that they're working on. And I'm not saying stop doing that. No, we're there. We're complementing one another. I'm just begging you guys to help me out a little bit. But I don't know, like, there's some good politicians out there, but there's also a lot of them that have been like bought and paid for, right? Because you got to remember, these hedge funds are like donating to their campaigns. I mean, to their party in particular. So like, even if you have somebody who may be more on the up and up, their dedication to their party and their party's dedication to hedge funds concerns me. And this is why I'm an independent, guys. Like, I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, because guess what? There's corruption on both sides. Like, so much so, and I'm going on a tangent, that I just want to see so much systemic change, and that's what's hard. It's like, where do I even begin? And so for me, I have to like laser focus. Okay, so right now, it's not just financial corruption, because I was doing a lot with it and the Fed movement, or Fed up movement, just because the whole Federal Reserve thing is just insane. But so like, I have to be more focused on MMAT and MMTLP, and I say both because they both have the same legacy torch issue. Like, it stemmed from the same problem, right? And um and and so so I know that we've got those AMC and GME and all those other folks that are doing great work, and so we can complement one another. But if we can work together for our cause, but in a way that benefits the whole, everyone who's fighting the same war, I think that could be very helpful. So I'm going to be trying to reach out to more people, see how I can help them, see how they can help me. And that's one of the things that I learned in my advocacy class in my Master Social Work program, um, was a couple of things. I mean, like, when you have a cause that you're passionate about, you need to look and see what efforts have already been done and who's working on them, because um the more voices you have, and the more resources, the more you can get done, right? And you don't want to duplicate efforts that have already been fruitless. Um so yeah, I mean, I hear people say, we're not a meme stock, and we don't belong in the meme community. Well, guess what? We have the same short, synthetic, counterfeit share short problem and corruption problem. And so while I agree we're not a meme, we are associated by the unfortunate fact that we've all, experienced this horrific short attack, and just, been victim to these short hedge funds trying to just exploit the system to destroy companies and get more money, and off the backs of retail and these companies, of course. And so yeah, so if we can file multiple IC3 reports, if we can inundate them, if we can get people from other communities to support us and we support them, I believe that could be very beneficial. So that's one of the things that I wanted to talk to you about. So props to you, Ramen, because um, you renewed the fire in my belly to let me know, yeah, this is I've had a few indications, to let me know that I'm on track for where I need to be personally for me. And if you want to sit and try and insult me, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. It's kind of funny because, you can say I'm a paid pumper, but I haven't taken a dime. I have not taken a dime from anyone aside from when I shipped them swags and people pitched in for shipping. But um, like I do this, and it's kind of interesting. And I think I've told this story once before, so I apologize if it's redundant. But you know, my my supervisor, my mentor in one of my practicums when I was doing clinical work for the VA, she was talking to me. We were talking about note taking, right? Notations, because she said, write every note like it's going to be read in court, um, which is funny because side tangent, uh, you have to like jot down like their mood or their affect, and I'm horrible. I'm a horrible speller, guys. Um, if it wasn't for spell check, I'd be doomed. But the problem is spell check like picks up words that are similar. So I was like, oh, they have a labial. It was supposed to be labile. Labile. That's a different word. And I was like labial. And she was like dying. Anyways, we're not going to be talking about labia today. So she said, write your notes like they may be seen in court one day. And she said, when they come to, like, if someone comes to sue you, because it happens, right? Um, she said, the ones that people need to fear are not necessarily the ones that are putting, suit and trying to get just ridiculous sums of money for damages or whatever. It's the ones that are like $1 and your license. Um, they're not motivated by money, and so I guess I'm a hybrid because guess what? I am motivated by money. I really do want my money, because this is what investment is about. You took on unlimited risk, and when you do that, the piper needs to be paid. So, but that being said, I feel like what she was saying was it's those people who have the passion and they just want to make the change, and they feel like you deserve to never practice again. Never. You do not deserve your license. And that's my feeling for these just disgusting, corrupt, nefarious hedge fund broker accounts. Um, if you are going to do this to retail, if you're going to do this to the market and the economy, the stability of our country, you have no business in the financial sector. And so for me, I'm very passionate about making change. And so I want money, but I can tell you what I dream about more than that now. I mean, of course, I would like always kind of like, because it's fun to dream, right? It's fun to dream about what you could do with money. Um, I find myself obsessed with just daydreaming about the change, making change for my children and for all of us. And then, you know, if I am able to make significant change, and I think this is going to be something that we're always going to have to stay up on, because that, like, even if we clear up what's going on now, they'll always try and find another tactic unless we can completely like bankrupt them and set a precedent so that like no one else does it. But I think we're always going to have to be vigilant, um, and because we know right now, like, the SEC and our regulatory bodies they're not working appropriately for retail. Yeah, that's for you, Gary Gensler, because you have been hearing us screaming at the top of our lungs for 2 years, and you pander us going on certain YouTubers or whoever's uh, their interviews that they do. And Jon Stewart's was amazing, but I mean, even still, like, you're just trying to do a PR spin, right? You're a Goldman Sachs guy. I don't really feel, based on your actions, that you're in this for retail. So I don't trust the SEC to protect me, and so I think that I'm really really contemplating some kind of like nonprofit for protecting liberties from corruption, just protecting the people in general from a breadth of different. I mean, because there's so many realms I could go into. We could go into like big pharma. We could go into like the military-industrial complex. Like there's so much corruption. But right now, like I said, I have to be hyper focused on what's happening with us. And so, yeah, the IC3 reports, guys, www.ic3.gov. I was told that, like if somebody's building a bomb in their basement, they are going to be the highest priority because there's imminent risk to life. And so, if we could, I'm not, sorry, backtrack. So those are the highest priority, and then they look at like who's the loudest, and it's not. We've been very courteous. We've been very courteous in the fact that we've filled out the report, and then we've been waiting for their responses. I know now that the way that we can get attention is to be so annoying. Like I I didn't think that we had to be the kid at the grocery store with mom during checkout and like, I want it, please, 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 do this, 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 now, now, now. But that needs to be us. We need to fill out reports and reports and reports and reports, so much so that we're fucking with their system. And I'm parting my language, but yeah, we have to be that person. We don't sit courteously and wait for them to respond to us because they will try and get rid of the people who are the loudest first. And when I say get rid of, I mean maybe actually do what they need to do to protect the people. So I have hope in that process. Let's go to this mug that I have sitting in front of me. I have to have like things that cue me. Like I don't have notes. This is just my ranting. This is my head. So I'm sorry. You guys are listening to what's going on in my head. Okay. So I got another mug. And I don't know if you remember, these things are like so freaking sturdy. It broke my glass top on my oven because my husband was like trying to get it out of the microwave and it was hot because he was trying to reheat something. So that's the only thing that I would let you know is if you try and heat it, just because it's like, I feel like these more mattish finished ones don't get as hot as these more glossy finished mugs. But so be careful if you reheat it, because you dropped it and the top of our oven was a glass top and it shattered it. But my mug was absolutely fine. And so I got this from George at CES, and I was like, oh, my husband, I asked him, should I raffle it off? And he's like, no, you should keep it. And I feel bad. Like I love my swag, but I also know how much you guys want stuff, and so I might actually use this as bribery. I know how bad you guys want something, so I'm gonna bribe you. No, actually, I probably will. I will bribe you guys to retweet or comment. I'll figure it out so that this video gets shared, because I really want you guys to do, if you take anything from this video, it's those IC3 reports. It's so important, guys. And going in person, just hounding them, not to the point where you're gonna get arrested, because you got to remember, like, don't tell them you're making bombs to make them listen to you, because they'll arrest your ass. And anyways, so yeah, so my husband was like, oh, you should hold on to it, but I'm like, no. And I'm actually going to try and see if I can get Meta to work with me to see if we can get more availability of swag, even if we had to pay for it. I think people just want it. So anyway, so there's that. And then I wanted to talk to you guys about my Jubilee. And I actually had to look up what a Jubilee is. It's um, marking an anniversary, particularly for like the reign of, when you took over, if you're royalty. So my shtick is that I'm the queen of the metaverse. Yay for me! So I'm gonna have my jubilee tomorrow because tomorrow's my birthday. I know I've been talking about my birthday all month. I'm like one of those people that's like, January is my birthday. Hello, I'm a Capricorn. The whole Capricorn season is my birthday, but I'll actually chill out after my birthday. But like my husband's still gone for work, and it's me and the kids. My oldest, he flew out yesterday. Oh my gosh, yesterday was crazy because I just didn't have any sleep, and then I had to, like, my flight was delayed, and so I was stuck in Atlanta, and then I got home in the morning, and then like my oldest son was here, and so I told him, like, just don't send the youngest because the other two kids, because I have four kids, the other two kids can get themselves to school. So just leave her home and I'll get her to school when I get back. Just make sure you sleep on the couch or something so she can see you when she wakes up because I don't want her to think that there's nobody there. Blah 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 blah. And so yeah, so I got off the airplane and then I made my dentist appointment, guys. So like I went straight from the airport to my dentist appointment, guys. I had no cavities. Yay for hygiene. Um and so, but I do have some recession. It's always a problem. I brush too hard. Do you guys do that? Then I was like, use a spin brush, and I'm like, yeah, but I don't know. I'm always like, oh my gosh, I shouldn't have done that. No, it's not on purpose. Oh my gosh, I feel bad for anybody watching this. So, yeah, so I went from my dentist appointment to coming home, and like I walk in, so it was my four kids were home. My oldest was here for the holidays. So he's 23, and then I got a 17-year-old, a 13-year-old, and a 5-year-old, and so this is like the first time that there hasn't been like a family member or an adult, and like we very rarely get to go on trips. This was really nice, and my marriage really needed this. Um, and props to my husband for supporting me in all of the metamaterial stuff that happened this weekend on our trip. Like, I love him so much. Like, we fight, and it's been really hard. It's been really really tough. Um, I get wrapped up in things almost to the point there's like this fine line between like passion and insanity, and I tend to flirt with that line a little bit. So you guys are really good about like, no, Syntax or Cynthia, you guys all know my name because I'm like, am I being shadow banned? Which I'm still not sure I'm not being shadow banned because that's super weird. Hence why I need to bribe people to send my messages because it's like it feels like my I'm getting much fewer um, responses or just interactions. So, anyways, sorry, I delve into this is why I need Ritalin. So anyways, so yeah, so I got her to school. I came home and like I walk in the door and my house smells disgusting. I'm like, what the heck? Not like dirty. I don't know. It smelled like a pet store almost, but not so much poopy. I don't know. I don't know. I was just like, this is disgusting. So I was like mad deep cleaning my house I just had a little bit of time because in my oldest I wanted to spend time with him, but he'd stayed up all night, so he was sleeping before he had to go to the airport. So I was like deep cleaning. I like put baking soda all over my carpet, not my carpet, my rug, because we have these like wood looking tile floors, and my rug, let that sit. And then I was like sweeping. I still need to mop today, but I'm like really not supposed to do too much because I'm still not cleared from the surgery, so I have to be kind of chill. But just like cleaning every like horizontal surface because everything just was like ugh. And yeah, I mean even like the guest bathroom that hardly gets used. Like I live in Florida, and the weirdest thing, if I don't clean my toilets every week, like you'll get like where the top rim of the toilet, because I don't use like those little bleach tablets, just because like I'm afraid my dogs will try and drink the water or something. I don't know. They don't drink the water, but I just don't use them. So like I have to clean my toilets weekly, or there's this like weird mold ring, and it's just bleh. because mold is the thing in Florida. It's a problem, so I always have to be on top of it. So anyway, so I did some mad cleaning, and then I had to get my son to the airport. And by the end of getting him to the airport, while I was trying to drive home, I was like so tired. I found myself kind of, it was crazy because I found myself kind of like and I look over, and then this road is like, there's been so many fatalities on this particular road that goes from the airport to my city. And I look over, and there's, the cross for someone who passed away. um I'm not saying they've passed away from drowsy driving, but I was like, holy shit. So I popped on to one of the spaces I was going, because they're always going. And so I was like, hey, talk to me, keep me up. And you guys got me home. Like, I knew it wasn't too much further, but I was just so tired. And then I'll go back to where I'm going with the story, but back to the spaces, because I did want to touch on that. Um, yeah, I'm gonna start doing a space daily, just kind of like a recap. I'll do it from um, my time, so I'm Central 2:30 to 3:30, so that's the hour before close of market. That way we can get some of our people overseas to have an opportunity to interact with us, and then maybe we can just do kind of like a recap. Because I know that you guys in these longer spaces you're bouncing ideas, and there's a lot of just it's like a think tank, right? And it's a lot of peer support. I'm not saying don't go to those. I'm not doing this to deter anybody from anything that might be working for them. I just was asked. I had something in my mouth. I was asked because people thought there was value in that. I enjoy doing spaces. My kids are back in school after the holiday break, and that's early enough. So for me, my availability is more so during the day, because I can modify my schedule. Granted, I have a lot of doctor's appointments because I have a lot of health problems, a lot particularly right now. But you guys can be flexible with me for that. But I'm not doing this to say, hey, the other spaces suck or anything like that. So this is not anything to do with that. It's just to complement. So yeah, so that's just an added benefit that I was told might be helpful in the community. So we're going to try it out. I'll probably do it not today, because I want to save a lot of my CES stuff I'm selfishly saving it for my Jubilee, um, which is tomorrow evening at 8 my time, so 9 Eastern Standard Time. Um, so yeah, I just wanted to have a Queen's Jubilee um, to discuss CES, and maybe to discuss. Well, no, I don't know. No, I'll talk about self care a different time. I really, for me, it was really good to get away. Not just to spend time with my husband, because my marriage. Oh my gosh, guys, we needed it. We needed it so badly. Um, you know, on a personal note, stuff since we've moved to Florida, my husband's work has been a lot more. The ops tempo has been, and it's been really stressful. Adjusting in general. We've moved 3 times in 3 years, and it's exhausting. Um, I have had difficulties being able to bloom where I'm planted. My health has been really shit. So we've had a lot, and so to go and to set. And then, I mean, I still kind of messaged about MMTLP, but I'm really not as up to date on things, and so that's why I really appreciate you guys on what happened with MMTLPs while I've been at CES, because I was able to just set it aside and just go back to why I'm so passionate about this company, Metamaterials. To be honest, like, I came in indirectly, but kind of directly. I joined them later. That Atlas group, right? That's how I heard about it, and so the whole point of them was to do these, like, and I didn't really understand it at the time, because I was coming from crypto, and that was a whole different realm. But the pump and dumps, right? So they would, like, basically I didn't understand, like, they would talk up these companies, and I didn't understand that, like, oh, when you have a squeeze, it's gonna like drop off, and they'll probably short it on the other end. Like, I was learning, like, I was so fresh, right? And so I came into it with that, and then but then I started looking into the company, right? So it wasn't like when I invested in Sundial, where, I'm not saying that, because I have to speak carefully. Just for me, that wasn't a company that I was more interested in long term. I'm not saying that that's not a good option for other people. I think there's a lot of shorts in that. I think that the people who are still in it and fighting for, market fairness, that's totally awesome. So I don't want to disparage any other apes, but I'm just saying, for me, when I heard about metamaterials and I heard about the amazing things that they did, oh shoot, I'm going into what I'm going to talk about in my Jubilee. Backtrack. You guys are going to have to wait for that. That was a teaser. Ha ha ha. So anyways, um so forget that. I back to my day. I get my son, well, I finish cleaning, and then I have to get my son to the airport. You guys talk me through, like, living so I don't die in the car accident, and because I fall asleep at the road. I get home and I'm just so exhausted because I'm literally running off of maybe like 2.5 hours of sleep. Like, I just didn't get any sleep. And so when I get home from dropping him off, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take a power nap before my kids get home from school, because then I have to go to martial arts and do all, mom stuff. And I just finally get to sleep, and then I get a call from Vanguard. So um, some of you guys know I have a connection with Vanguard because I was so annoying. Annoying in a nice way. I think it works out well for me. I like to make human connections too, and I like to be kind to some people. I don't know what social interactions is something that I think I do fairly okay with. So yeah, the whole, when the DTC thing, and they wouldn't open the case, and then they told me misinformation, and then I got a call back from her apology, and then it was like, okay, well, I only want to interact with you, because I know he was like one of the tops in the corporate actions department. So I get a call back because um, last week he had told me that they had exactly the right amount of certificates. This is Vanguard. The right amount of certificates that they needed. And I was like, well, that's cool. So maybe Vanguard's on the up and up. And everything's fine. And I was like, okay, I was kind of at peace with Vanguard, but I do have some stuff in Robinhood. So yeah, don't judge me. But yeah, I do. So so I was like, okay, well, can you get the information, because all the certificates, it's held in street name, which means that they're all Vanguards, but basically they give you the QSIP within your account or something, so that they said it was to tie, and I'm maybe misspeaking, but this was my understanding, to tie it to say, okay, it's like tying it to the amount of shares that you have within this jumbo certificate. I was like, well, I don't want them held in street name with you guys. I do and I don't. I'll get into that in a second. And so they were like, okay, we're going to look into transferring it, because I understand that you guys would probably want it held with NextBridge. And I was like, yeah, I want it held with NextBridge. And so I finally got a call back, because they were going to go try and get a hold of AST. And he's like, hey, we got a hold of AST, and you cannot have them held in your name with NextBridge. The only way to do this, you either have us hold them, or you request to have an actual paper certificate, like it would get delivered in the mail to my house. And I was like, no, I don't feel comfortable about that, because for me, I'm like, well, I don't know if I don't think it's going to start trading. I don't know. Like, I honestly don't know how it's going to go. I want accountability, however that comes. Trading, gray market. So yeah. So if I had a paper certificate, I don't know how I would, how that would work, as far as like if I ever wanted to sell, and then just the whole risk of losing it, because ADD, guys, I lose stuff. I mean, I have a file, so yeah. So I was like, no, and besides that, it clearly states in the S1 that it can be held in my name with NextBridge Hydrocarbons. And he was like, oh, I was like, yeah, it's in the S1. And he's like, oh, so I'm like, okay, fine. And he's a super nice guy. I really like Joe over at Vanguard. I'm not saying that he's corrupt, but I did have some concerns about his information. So I was like, okay, I'm going to call AST. So I call AST and they're like, WTF, mate. Um, it didn't line up. So they were telling me, yeah, you can absolutely have it held there. So I called Vanguard back. And see, that's the thing is a lot of people aren't going to take the initiative to call and verify what their broker's saying because you just assume that what your broker is saying that they have a responsibility. I'm not in their, I guess they're not fiduciaries, but they have a responsibility to protect us and our funds, and that they're not going to be I'm not saying corrupt, but that they're not going to be inept. That they, yeah, that they'll actually know what they're saying or verify, and maybe I was when I talked, so I called Vanguard back, and I'm like maybe it was a miscommunication, maybe it was heard wrong, maybe it was, but I know in my head I was like, no, you guys are professionals, and this is not actually acceptable. Um, I wonder if I can get a recording of the conversation between Vanguard and AST, but they don't. They tell you that you can't get transcripts for anything, and you can't record your conversations with them. I mean, you can, but you can't tell them, or they'll hang up on you. For all intents and purposes, I really haven't been recording, and I should, but I also like I also feel like that if I was going to share any recordings, if I had any recordings, that I might have something like with Alan where they're like, we're just not going to do business with you anymore. And that's not what I want right now. Um, we'll see how this pans out. And if I want to keep any of my money in the market, I have some mutual funds. There may be a safer place for my money than the U.S. market if we can't get things cleaned up. But so I call AST. They're like, it doesn't line up. So I call Vanguard back, and they're like, sorry, I say like a lot. That was my dad's peeve. Um, they're similar. They're on two is what I would say instead of like sometimes just to piss him off because I like to tease my dad. Um, but I was like, it doesn't line up with what AST told me. And I asked him, I was like, did you talk to him directly? And he said, no, we have another department for that. And so basically he's being fed information. And so that's what was discouraging me because I thought, that I had found this connection higher up within the corporate action department so that I could get information that he could do the legwork for me. But it sounds like other people do the legwork, or if we're going to put on a tinfoil hat, possibly there's a narrative that's been fed, and they have some objective. And I don't know yet. I don't know. I'm sorry, Vanguard. You may be totally on the up and up. We'll see how things pan out. But that just was weird to me because that's not at all how it's supposed to be. It doesn't say that in the S1, and AST was like, well, that's just weird. So yeah. So I'm waiting to hear back from them to find out about direct registering. My confliction is, do I get those shares put in my name with NextBridge, or is there the possibility of some kind of a settlement or gray market? But then at the same time, if they're set in NextBridge, those shares might be valuable to someone too. So it's just all kind of this like game plan, and we've got all these different theories floating around about how it's going to be. But ultimately, we have to make the best decisions for ourselves. So gaining that knowledge and then really thinking about what plan is best for me and what I want to do. Um, so yeah, so there was that, and then and then I just did the rest of my day, and I eventually went to sleep. But there were some interesting spaces last night, and a lot of new interesting information, and so I'm gonna touch in with you guys. And then that's when I found out about Raemen holding a special bash on metafam, highlight syntax, space, or whatever he did the other day. If you guys hop in and you hear that hate, it's okay. It's okay. I appreciate you guys reaching out to me. I appreciate how protective you are of me. It makes me feel very loved and blessed. And I appreciate you guys, and it makes me feel appreciated. So I value that. So thank you for that. But it's okay. It's okay because honestly, it gives me fuel. It tells me I'm on point. It tells me to continue. we're all going to continue because they want us to get tired. They do. They want us to get tired and they want us to give up. So they're telling us, you're going to have to pay, like Webull, you're going to have to pay almost $300 to transfer things, or you're going to have to wait 4 weeks and you're only going to get a paper certificate and you can't have it. They're feeding us all these loops, and I'm not really sure if it's a delay tactic or what their reasoning is, but this is definitely, nothing has been typical. And for me, just like what happened with Ramen and his spending energy affirms me that I'm on the right track. What these brokers are doing, this tells us that, they always used to say, there's no synthetics, you can't prove it, blah, 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 because it's like this whole gaslighting, manipulative, um, psyops thing that they do. But if everything was on the up and up, if everything lined up and there wasn't an issue, they would have closed out trading. It wouldn't have been a problem. We wouldn't be seeing these brokers giving us weird, like changing stories, changing QSIPs, like all this stuff. So when you see and pardon my French, the fuckery, when you see that, take that as an indication that we, as a metafam, and I say that because MMAT, MMTLP, like, we are united in this. Um, yeah, we're united in this, and we see it together. We see what they're doing, and we know that they would not be spending the energy or going through all the rigmarole if things were all on the up and up and everything was going to line up. So yeah, we'll just keep our eye on what Rose is doing. I know that there's some other lawyers that are doing some cool stuff. Alex from the SEC came in last night to one of the spaces. She said, that's what I need to call right now, Vanguard. She said to call and ask if they have not if they have custody, but if they are custodians, because I guess if you're not a custodian, you can't like hold somebody's shares to a private company. You have to be registered or something. I maybe misunderstood. So if you call your broker and they tell you that they're not a custodian, and that there's not like a custodian over your shares, but they're holding them, um, that's something that we can go to the SEC supposedly with, and then we can also go. I would also put it in an IC3. I'm just saying, put everything in the IC3s, and then like also like if you're disabled, military, veteran, if you're elderly, like anything that's a special indicator that may mean that you're a more vulnerable population, I would put that in your IC3s as well. So yeah, I'm going to close out because I can see that my husband's trying to call me and I miss him. I do. It is really good to go on vacation and get on, like, feel more connected to him. So anyways, I'm gonna let you guys go. My Jubilee's tomorrow, and I would love to have you there so I can geek out about the amazing things that I saw, not just with metamaterials, but like the Project Arrow stuff, and just my impressions on watching the team in action, because I do like to watch as much as I like to talk. And having Curtis and Angela and Doug, and then Nguyen was there. It was amazing. And if you were there and I missed you, I'm sorry I missed you, but I'm sure you saw the same things that I did. So I'll talk to you guys later. I appreciate you, and let's keep fighting. And please fill out an IC3 report, or 2 or 5 or 10 today. Thank you. Bye.